Jack from B&T MacFarlane. Today we're going over insurance on your tractor, so let's get into it. Purchasing a piece of equipment is a massive investment, and just like when you buy a vehicle for the road, you want to make sure that you're covered across all the accidents that can happen to it when you own it. So we're going to make this video today going into some of the things that you need to look for when you're purchasing insurance for your equipment. And then, as a lot of you might know or might even have it on your Kubota tractor, is Kubota insurance. If you're from Canada, this is called physical damage insurance. If you're from the United States, it's called KTAC insurance. So we're going to go today what that covers, what it doesn't cover, and what benefits it has to you. Our customers ask us all the time what type of insurance and what coverages they should be getting for their tractor. If you're going for insurance on your own, going to your own broker or going through a home insurance policy, you need to make sure that the tractor is covered on and off your property. This is a big one because you don't know when you're going to have to put that on a trailer, go to your neighbor's house, go to the dealership for service, or even drive it down the road to your neighbor's house. If something happens off of your property on a typical homeowner's insurance, it won't be covered. A homeowner's policy will only cover physical property on your property. So it happens off of your property, you're likely not covered. You also want to be covered against damage. So this is things like trees falling on it, or tornado going through, or if it catches on fire. You also want to be covered against theft. Kubotas, they can be high value targets for thieves, especially if they're parked out in the open on a job site. So you want to make sure you have theft damage. And you also want to be covered against accidental damage. When you're working with the Kubota tractor or a piece of equipment in general, a lot of things can happen that you're not really expecting. You can get your tire stuck in a hole, flip the tractor over, you can drive over a rock, completely destroy your transmission. So these are all accidents that can happen to your tractor and are really unfortunate for you, the customer, if you don't have this type of insurance to cover it. Thankfully, if you're having trouble finding insurance through your own broker, or you can't really find the exact policy that meets all of your insurance needs, Kubota, they offer KTAC insurance, or up here in Canada, they call it physical damage insurance. So when you're financing a piece of equipment through Kubota, you have to have insurance on the piece of equipment on the tractor. And Kubota does this just like any other automobile company, just to cover their losses if something happens to your tractor in a total loss scenario. And the nice thing about this insurance is if you do have a total loss scenario, if you flip your tractor to a point where it's really not repairable, or you damage it to a point where it's not repaired, Kubota will cover the entire cost of the tractor and basically get you into a brand new tractor for a very, very low deductible of only $250. This also covers accidental damage. We've seen it here where people roll over their tractor, they'll need a new engine and stuff like this. It's definitely not covered under warranty, but if you put in a claim through Kubota insurance, it will cover the entire cost of the engine. Again, minus that $250 deductible. The nice thing about this insurance as well is it covers it on and off your property, like I mentioned. So if you put this on a trailer, go over to your friend's house, do some work, and heaven forbid a tree falls on it, it's covered off your property as well. Or if it's on a trailer as well and you get in a motor vehicle accident, it's also covered on that. Some of the things it doesn't cover though is if it's a mechanical failure due to lack of repair. So that's kind of where us, the dealership, step in. We work with the insurance adjusters at Kubota to assess the damages, assess the repairs. So as long as you're doing your regular maintenance and nothing catastrophic happens from lack of grease or lack of maintenance, then you should have no problem using Kubota insurance. I mentioned this is a really good policy if you're a homeowner, and what I meant by that is that Kubota insurance doesn't cover liability. So if you're a contractor and you work on other people's sites or you have employees, if you opt for the Kubota insurance, it's not going to cover liability of other people's property. So if you, for whatever reason, are on a job site, you run into somebody's car, you damage somebody's house, or dig through an electrical wire in the ground, it's not going to cover any of that, and it doesn't cover any liability against somebody else. So if you injure somebody with your tractor, it's not going to cover that. Kubota insurance only covers the physical property of the tractor itself. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. If you're a contractor, you need to look into some liability insurance that goes with your company and will cover the assets that you own as well with your company. When you're in the final stages of purchasing your piece of Kubota equipment, you're gonna sit across the table from your salesman and he's likely gonna offer you Kubota insurance. This isn't a tactic to pad their wallets or make the dealership a whole bunch of money. Us as a dealer, we don't make a whole lot of money selling Kubota insurance. We make under $100 selling this, so it's really not something that we benefit from all that much. It's really meant for you, the customer, in order to have a really easy access to good insurance, so it can really streamline the financing process and get it done extremely quickly for you. Because if you've ever shopped around for insurance on pieces of equipment, a lot of insurance brokers, they're a little bit hesitant to give you insurance on a tractor unless you're doing it for a business. So again, this is a really easy solution going with the Kubota insurance. The last thing I want to talk about is when you can add this and who this is really for. So you can add this right at the point of purchase. You cannot add Kubota insurance to a finance contract down the road, say 2-3 years. You're like, man, I really wish I got that Kubota insurance on the tractor. You can only add it at the point of purchase. And again, if you decide to take the cash discount, pay for the tractor outright, you cannot add Kubota insurance. So you have to take the financing option in order to add the Kubota insurance. So you can pretty much buy any piece of equipment, pay cash for it, and drive it off the lot without any insurance whatsoever. I would not recommend this to anyone. It's not a very good idea because things can happen just from the trailer to your property. So again, I would recommend, even if you're paying for it cash, get an insurance policy taken out on it. I just wanted to thank you guys for watching, and if you need help with parts, sales, or service, give us a call at 613-225-0555. Thank you.